I am back. The time has come for vengeance.
I can't in good faith recommend Rise of Lyric to anyone.
Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric is not good.
This game is garbage. It is utter garbage. I cannot believe the glitches. I cannot believe that it wasn't fixed. I cannot believe that this was sold and marketed to not only children, but to Sonic fans everywhere.
So, this is what you had planned, huh?
Yes. 3 years ago I made a promise that you would suffer.
And I see you've added an echo to your voice as well.
Yes, very threatening, I know.
Not really. No.
Well, screw you. I didn't ask for your opinion on my voice. I asked for your opinion on Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric. And that opinion, I know, will destroy you once and for all.
You really are evil.
Get on with it, you hedgehog nerd!
Yeah, nice playground insults you got there. Anyway...
The entire controversial spin-off series of Sonic Boom all began with this teaser image right here. I remember seeing this image for a new spin-off show for the first time watching Sonic Toast. Anyone else remember that guy? I didn't think much of it at first, but later in 2014, the designs for the characters were revealed to the public to mixed reception. And then later after that, it was revealed that 2 video games would be released with the TV show, along with merchandise as well. The console game, Rise of Lyric, was developed by Big Red Button, and Shattered Crystal on the 3DS was developed by Sanzaru Games. Both of the games were released and were slammed into the ground, through the earth, and into the core. Holy crap, people had their beef with Shattered Crystal, but Rise of Lyric? Good lord, everyone was making this game their own personal punching bag. Some reviewers even went out of their way to call it the worst Sonic game, let alone the worst video game of all time. Just mentioning this game's name made it facepalm it was that hated. But now that it's been about 4 years since its infamous release, I'm going to be forced to answer the question, is it really the worst? Or were people just out for the blue blur at the time?
Without further ado, this is Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric.
Cue the intro.
Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric opens up with Sonic being shot and crushed to death by rocks.
Boy, isn't this seriously foreshadowing this game's reputation!
One Adobe Premiere text composite shot later, and we flash back to the previous day. Sonic and the gang are chasing down Eggman when they soon discover an ancient tomb with carvings of Sonic and Tails on the door. They're suddenly surrounded by robots and quickly head inside of the tomb. Inside the tomb, the gang discovers an imprisoned snake named Lyric, in which he awakens from his slumber and captures the group. Tails is able to turn the beams they were caught with into a new utility known as the Enter Beam. They escape the tomb and meet up with their friend Cliff. Cliff tells the group that Lyric had planned to turn the entire world into metal 1,000 years ago using the Chaos Crystals, but was imprisoned before he could go through with his plan. So it is up to Sonic, Tails, Amy, and Knuckles to find the crystals and put a stop to Lyric's plans, while also avoiding the likes of Eggman and Shadow the Hedgehog. Now, out of all the things wrong with this game, the story is, frankly, not one of them. Sure, it's nothing original at all, but for what it wants to do, it works fine enough. The main four, although their personalities are watered down a lot, are still the characters that I know and love. I can still genuinely get a chuckle from these guys every now and then. And good lord, Mike Pollock as Eggman is the best part of the whole story. He's just so entertaining to watch in anything. But that doesn't mean the story has no problems. The plot has a bad habit of introducing characters for a certain part of the game and then never bringing them back up again afterwards. The AI from the past, Maya, is in the game for a grand total of 10 minutes. Quincy only really helps you out in the last part of the game, and Shadow... Why was Shadow in this game at all? He shows up early on to have a boss fight with you, and then disappears until the very end where he just says one line and walks away. Come on, Sega. I did not give a single crap about who these people were, what they were doing here, why they were here, or anything else.
Let's just move on to the aesthetics.
Now let me get this out of the way. Do I think that this game looks like a PS2 game? No. But does it look way behind the quality standard of 2014? Yes. It's not the worst looking Sonic game I've ever seen, but man does it look rushed as hell. There are so many technical problems I could talk about, including the following: constant frame drops, inappropriate music playing in certain situations, enemy AI not working correctly, stuttering, sound effects just existing whenever they feel like it, and clipping through the environment. This game feels so unfinished and unpolished, I struggled to comprehend how it was approved. The last time that Sega rushed a game, it received critical panning and almost killed the series entirely. So what made them think that doing it with a different developer would do anything different? It's never a good idea to rush a game to meet the deadline. I mean, even an extra month of work would have made a big difference. But let's move on to something else. The soundtrack is, frankly, pretty forgettable, with the exception of the main theme, but that's because it plays so often in this game. This is actually a big problem because music is one of the many things that Sonic games are known for, and we get this bland OST? The animation during the pre-rendered cutscenes are actually really well made. The animation is good, the facial expressions are on point, and the lip syncing is top notch. Definitely looks better than the Dreamcast era Sonic games, that's for sure. The animations in the gameplay, however, it's quite clear that they didn't even try. They resorted to looping animations that looked bad in the early 2000s with games like Spyro Enter the Dragonfly. Why did they think this was a good idea? The voice acting in Rise of Lyric is good. Not great, not awful, just serviceable. However, these character voices can get really annoying because during the gameplay, they will not shut up no matter what you are doing.
Watch out, can never grab too many rings. Up and over. It's like these tracks were built for me. Boom! Yeah! Almost there. Great job.
There's Lyric! Watch out! Just keep using the crystal as bait.
You can't escape me.
He's more worm than snake.
I love Keep Away.
Yes, yes. Soon, that game will destroy you and make you hate video games for life.
Yeah, good luck with that. It's time to get into the meat of any game, the gameplay.
The gameplay of Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric is a little tricky for me to talk about. Let me explain. Sonic the Hedgehog is a series that focuses on not only speed, but platforming as well. This can be different depending on the game. The classic Sonic and Dreamcast era Sonic games can be described as fast-paced platformers. Most of the modern Sonic games can be described as high-speed action games with platforming involved. Sonic Boom, on the other hand, well, there is speed and there is platforming, but the two never intertwine with each other. First, let's focus on the speed sections first. While they're not as bad as the mock speed sections in Sonic 06, they're still pretty bad. Not only do these sections show the worst examples of the characters never shutting up, but the frame rate is choppy as balls. I don't necessarily think that the frame rate makes these parts unplayable. Far from it, I still got through them no problem. But that does not excuse these flaws. And the funny thing is, these speed sections are only about 1/3 of the game. The The majority of the game is spent in these platforming sections. You'll spend the majority of time platforming, pressing buttons, bounce pad, and using the enter beam to pull switches and zip on zip lines. Rise of Lyric also has 4 playable characters: Sonic, Tails, Amy, and Knuckles. Sonic is the speed character, and he can use his homing attack and the spin dash up ramps. Tails can use propellers to fly, attack enemies from a distance, and use his buddy bot for certain tasks. Amy is the most athletic character, able to use her hammer and swing on poles, and can jump 3 times, making her the most useful for platforming. And finally, there's Knuckles, who's used for climbing rock walls, and frankly, that's about it. Sure, he's the strongest puncher of them all, but he's still really uninteresting to play as. Speaking of punching things, the combat in this game is repetitive as sin. You only have 2 attack buttons, a regular attack and a special attack. And no, this isn't something like Hyrule Warriors where you can upgrade your move list to make things more interesting. No, you are stuck with the same 2 or 3 moves for the entirety of the game. Oh well, there must be a risk for dying, right? Nope. If you die, you just spawn right back to where you were with nothing reset at all. Sure, you do have a max of 100 rings, but frankly it won't matter if you die because rings are everywhere in this game. Lastly, there are upgrades that you can acquire in this game, but frankly I almost never got any of them since they're pretty irrelevant because of how boring this game is.
Yeah, that's my biggest problem with Rise of Lyric. Not the glitches, the characters, or the story. My biggest problem with this game is that it's boring.
During my play sessions, I was just so goddamn bored playing this game. Part of the reason why I play Sonic games is the high-speed action, fun platforming, and seeing all my favorite characters interacting on the screen. Rise of Lyric sadly just can't hold my attention for more than 30 minutes. And do you know what the most insulting thing about this game is? There's an upgrade that could actually be pretty useful, one that allows you to hold more rings at a time. However, you must have a copy of Sonic Boom Shattered Crystal for the 3DS and link it up with Rise of Lyric in order to unlock it, meaning that this upgrade is locked by a $40 price tag.
Yes, unleash your anger. Give in to the dark thoughts.
Nope. I won't give in to the salt.
Yes, you must. It's the only way that you'll be accepted on the internet.
Wait, what are you talking about? That doesn't even make any sense. At least let your threats make sense, Nora.
Just get on with the final thoughts, jeez.
Alright.
Overall, yes, I agree that this has been one of Sonic's worst games in years. It's unpolished, buggy, and repetitive. I totally see how this is one of the worst games on the Wii U.
But do I think that this is the worst Sonic game, let alone the worst video game of all time? No. No, not really. There are other games out there that are more unpolished, unfun, and insulting than Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric. I mean, I had a chuckle every now and again from the characters, and I can safely say that I was never frustrated or lost while playing the game. And that is more than I could say for a lot of Sonic's other failures. So, the final verdict is, I think that Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric is just mediocre at worst.
Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric may not be good, but I won't consider it the worst game I've ever played, or even the worst Sonic game for that matter. Games like Ninja Breadman, Anubis II, and Superman 64 are far worse games in every possible way. They are glitchy, unpolished, uninteresting, frustrating abominations that have no upsides to them whatsoever. And even by Sonic standards, Shadow the Hedgehog, Secret Rings, and Sonic 06 are worse than Rise of Lyric could ever be. Shadow the Hedgehog is worse because of how it tries to take itself way too seriously by adding in mild curse words, guns, and an edgier version of Shadow the Hedgehog. Secret Rings is worse because the voice acting is straight up bad, and the motion controls are absolutely atrocious, making it virtually unplayable. Sonic 06 is worse because its plot is boring, repetitive, confusing, and filled with plot holes up the wazoo, and the glitches in that game actually affect the gameplay for the worst, unlike in Sonic Boom. So, no, I don't consider Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric to be the worst Sonic game of all time, but it definitely isn't worth your time or money either. I'm going to give Rise of Lyric a 2 out of 5.
What? A 2? Give it a 1 out of 5. You know it's the worst.
No, Nora, you're wrong. I would be lying if I said this was the worst game I ever played. I mean, there are still things I can admire about it, despite it being boring. And you know what? I really feel like that's what matters in a situation like this. When you kind of have a bit of a controversial opinion, as long as you know what you like and what you don't like, and you're honest about it, and you don't try to bullcrap it just for the sake of fitting in or sticking out, as long as your opinion is honest, really that's all that matters. And, you know, that's what makes opinions so special. They're all different and unique. We don't all have to like the same things because, like, there would be no competition. So, as long as we can respect each other's opinions, I think we can get along just fine.
No. Let's play some more awful games. Yes.
Alright, let's do it. It'll be quite the incredible experience.
No, positivity! No! I'll get you! You haven't seen the last of me! Ah!
So in the end, if you like something, go ahead and like it. If you don't like something, go ahead and don't like it. As long as your opinion is yours and not someone else's, that's all that matters. Until then, I'm the Super Gamer, and thank you all so much for 100 episodes. Bye-bye!
Good times and bad times, I can count on being with you. I thank you for staying so true. My life will go on a long time, have to catch up when I see you. And you are my reason I can make it through. I will give my word that I will come in time to rescue. My heart will always be with you. I'm so glad I met you, being with me wherever, made for each other forever.
Oh, my dude, you just got pranked. Bet you didn't see that one coming, huh?